Welcome to the First State African American Farmers Association's Farmers Real Talk podcast, a podcast all about giving you a look into the lives of black farmers and others in the agriculture industry. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the podcast.
Hello, my name is Leandra Casson Marshall, and I am a professor at Delaware State University, a proud HBCU professor, and I also am the Trauma Academy Coordinator for Delaware State University's Trauma Academy. And I'm so excited to be the host for our new DSU Farmers Real Talk podcast. Again, it's called DSU's Farmers Real Talk podcast. And it is going to be real talk. We are talking about all of the issues relating to farming and the farming industry. And it's important that this podcast be shown just all over the United States and all over Delaware, because we want you to know about the opportunities in farming. And we have a wonderful person that we're going to interview today that's going to bring a wealth of information to us. Her name is Miss Gwen Pierce. She is the president of the First State African American Farmers Association. And some of you are saying, I didn't know we had an association. Well, we do, and Miss Pierce is the president. So the first question, Miss Pierce, is this one. Tell us about your journey when it comes to agriculture and farming.
Well, my journey actually began as a child on my grandparents' farm in Maryland. I would go down with my mother as she took care of my grandmother, particularly during the summers, but before school, I was also there during the winter also. And I was exposed to growing vegetables as well as my grandfather did grain farming on most of the land. But since then, I married my husband, who was interested in farming, and we have a small farm in Townsend with we had goats, quail, rabbits, and chickens.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, can you tell us how long, though, you've actually been in the farming industry? If you were to add all the numbers up, how long would it be?
Well, if you go back to my grandparents' farm, it's been my lifetime. But particularly with my husband, we were, I guess, established as farmers in probably 2012, 2013. But he'd been raising animals since, we moved to Townsend, I guess it was in the 80s, so early 80s.
A long time.
30 years, yeah.
It's really a long time. First, I guess before we get into some of these other questions, we should ask about the First State African American Farmers Association. How did it get started? What was the reason, the mission, the mission, or vision?
I think, started, we were called to a meeting at White Coat United Methodist Church in Dover. I think it was back in the 2012 area. And we just got together knowing that we didn't know each other. There were instances where people would say, are there any black farmers? And we didn't know each other. So this was a good opportunity. We came together, we met each other, and some of us continue to meet after that. So we decided to start an official organization to try to keep it going, and just as a means for farmers to get together to learn about each other as well as the issues that they have, and any means that we can help and educate each other and the youth, because that's what we were concerned about, continuing this so that new farmers and youth could learn about just the opportunities that are available for farming and the importance of learning where your food comes from and all the possibilities through agriculture.
Absolutely. Now, and I want to say, first of all, and I'm a proud member of that association, and it has done wonders in terms of my knowledge of learning so much about all different aspects of farming. Now, what are some things about agriculture that you feel is important that the public simply doesn't know about?
I think one of the things that about agriculture the public doesn't know about, just for Delaware, I didn't know that it was one of the main industries in Delaware. A $1 billion industry, and it's been really important as it relates to other industries like the banking industry or just the manufacturing and chemical industry.
When people think of agriculture, they never connect the journey between the farm to the table. They never connect that. Do you feel that farming is becoming like a lost art, or I know it's aging, it's becoming an aging industry? And so what do you think, what are your thoughts around that, and whatever else you wanted to share in that regard?
Well, I think farming, it traditionally had been, or still is, a large part a family-oriented industry. It seems to be passed down generationally. But it's difficult, I think, as an industry. You have to adapt to the times, and a lot of farming, it became big business. Smaller farms, it was more difficult for them to stay in existence and become profitable to keep it going. So a lot of times it's larger farms that are really still in existence and becoming larger. And here in Delaware, it just seems, and probably in other states as well, it seems like a lot of the land is, it's harder for it to maintain as farms with the development of housing and other industries taking over. So it's really critical to try to keep the legacy aspect going with trying to maintain our farms.
I was reading an article that said 0.8% of farmers who identify as black farmers are in the state of Delaware. 0.8%. Which is severely low. And it said also in this article, in Delaware, the number of black farms, producers, and land compared to their white counterparts is severely low. And it mentioned, according to the 2017 census of agriculture, that there were 19 black-owned farms, 24 black producers, and 887 black-owned acres. However, around 98% of farms and producers are white, while 98% of farmland in the state is owned by white farmers. And so we do see that there is a disparity between, when it looks at land and just the number of producers. And because there's so much legislation and things happening that are trying to address these concerns, is there any other, ideas or things that you have surrounding that and what we should be doing?
That you brought up a great point. I didn't say that was the other thing that surprised me about agriculture that I didn't realize, and maybe the public doesn't know, the importance of our legislature as it relates to agriculture. That years ago, legislature was put in place to help black farmers, or farmers in general, I'm sorry. And over the years, I'm not sure the black farmers were aware of some of this legislature that is there. And it out of that legislature, agencies are in place and organizations are in place to help farmers. And sometimes I believe that the African American and black farmers were not either aware of it or had access or were encouraged to participate in these programs. A lot of times they were denied, to be point blank. I know my husband and I years ago had originally contacted the Farm Home Administration, I think it was called, and we were told that they wouldn't be able to help us.
Oh, I understand what you're talking about. in the Griot, there was an article that said that black farmers can now finally make claims for $2.2 billion for this USDA program. And it said, and I'm just going to read a little bit of it. It says that the USDA announced it is now accepting application for its discrimination financial assistance program, which is being funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. And this article is dated July the 7th, 2023. So this is something new that we could tell the farmers, and particularly African American farmers, about. And it said the Biden-Harris administration officially opened its $2.2 billion relief initiative for black farmers and others who face discrimination with federal government lending programs. And that has really been an issue to, not be able to access the funds that can help to keep the farms in black farmers' hands. And so I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that those things are now available, so that if you are a disadvantaged, socially disadvantaged farmer, or have had issues in the past dealing with the USDA apparatus, then this is your time to find out about these particular programs that are available. Now, what is your perspective on the farming industry and how important black farmers are to the industry overall?
I think that black farmers are very important to the industry. We have a long history of wanting to farm, and our legacy has been, in the past, we bought here from slavery to farm. So we realize it's critical to continue to know where our food comes from and to be concerned about producing the food so we can eat. I think the recent pandemic has showed that the scarcity of food, it becomes a critical part of our survival as far as African Americans, as well as the food deserts, the people that live in cities and areas where there aren't any fresh produce available. And when you don't have that access, it impacts your life style as well as your ability to feed yourself and what you're feeding yourself.
What are the issues regarding technology? Because I know there are some issues regarding, now technology and equipment, now trying to access loans to be able to have the proper equipment so that black farmers or socially disadvantaged farmers will be able to produce and have the same yields as some of the other maybe mid-range or larger farmers. If you want to speak about that a little bit, because I know a lot of them struggle with trying to make sure that they have all of those resources in check.
Yes, that is a struggle. That's one of the main things. First of all, you have to get the land, and then to farm, you have to have equipment to farm it. Equipment, as well as decide which type of farming you're going to go into, and have the necessary either equipment or plants or animals to support that effort. And that's always been an issue of having access to the capital to support all of that, the land as well as what you're going to do on the farm. So it's really important that African Americans know that there is help available through the government, that they realize that there's important for agriculture to be, sustain us as a people on this planet. So it's really important that African Americans know that they can continue to farm if they, get access to these programs that are available. And I understand it's probably difficult when you've been denied or turned down, or you don't feel welcomed into these programs, but we have to persist and continue to farm, because it's really critical to feed our people.
And that's where the association, I think, comes in and is really strong, because if you're a person out there who feels like you're in this by yourself, you've been struggling, or you have air property that was given to you, you don't know what to do with it, the association is good because you're able to go and learn so much about the various options that you have. First State African American Farmers Association, they meet once a month. It's the second Monday, and we're meeting currently at the USDA office for the natural resources and conservation office in that area, in that office space. And so it's important to really understand that you may feel alone, but the association and working together with other groups and other people that want to do the same thing, there's strength in numbers. There's also the strength in being able to receive information and hear, other farmers ask questions, and you may not have known to ask that question. But being a part of the association, we're able to sit there and listen and take in information. Some of the information we would not be able to get if it wasn't for being a part of the association. And so you have a lot of persons who come to lecture us on various topics. So could you, elaborate on how and why you do that?
It's just as we meet and gather and we find out we have different questions or issues, and we reach out to different agencies that can help us. And we've had speakers come from the universities, Del State, as well as through UMES, and also the USDA offices. We've had speakers talk about any subject we want to know more about. The university.
Give them some examples.
We've had speaker from UMES that came and talked about the different ethnic crops that could be grown. We've had someone from the USDA office that talked about rural development, as well as we had someone from the DDA office talk about air property issues.
So just a wealth
Yes,
of knowledge.
yes,
a wealth
and
of
various
knowledge.
opportunities. We've also had interactions with organizations that were interested in the hemp industry that was starting here in Delaware. And it was interesting, and that's one of the things I like about our association, because just getting the farmers together and talking about they have a lot of experience and knowledge, and it was really exciting to hear their ideas about how it could be accomplished here in Delaware.
And what advice do you have for like future farmers, beginning farmers? Do you have any specific advice for them? Someone that maybe just be a landowner, but they haven't started farming, they're not sure. Or what are some of the things that you think they should think about? Any pitfalls that you fell in, and you just want to, keep other people from doing making some of those same mistakes? What do you think?
Things is planning. I think when you go to the office, they will tell you that, what is your farm plan. And so you have to take your passion, what you're interested in, or even if you don't know, there are resources through the universities, their extension programs. They have workshops so you can find out more information, just to help you establish what you really want to do, and then plan that out to see what you need to do to make yourself successful.
Now, what do you say to people who say this? I didn't know we had black farmers in Delaware.
Well, I'd say I felt the same way. My husband and I, for years, we would go to workshops and we wouldn't see any other black farmers. And sometimes we would go to, Ag Week, and we would see other people there, other black people. We weren't sure if they were farmers or just agency-related people or other workers. But I think it's encouraging that now that we have the association and we're sharing more, and hopefully more people will become aware, and we'll continue to interact with all the other farm-related organizations that are out there.
Great, great, great. Now we're coming to our last question. Can you believe it's going that fast? On that fast, this time together. Now, why do you think having the Black Farmers Conference, in which it is your association's conference, First State African American Farmers Association conference, in conjunction with the USDA and RCS, which is the Natural Resources Conservation Services, all these acronyms. We have to learn all these acronyms. If you're going to be in farming, you have to learn all of these acronyms. So we have them as well as, again, DSU, College of Agricultural Sciences and Technology. They are the other sponsor for this event. And then I also just want to mention the Trauma Academy. I am the Trauma Academy coordinator, and the DSU Trauma Academy is vested in this conference. We're excited about being a part of this conference, and we will also be available to discuss not only trauma-related issues in general, but we will have a section or a panel that will deal with trauma and Black mental health, and then mental health in general as it relates to farmers. It's very, very important. And so, again, I wanted to make sure I put that plug in because we all are trying to support this conference because we think it's important. It's November 8th and November 9th. And we thank you for, just leading that effort with us and allowing us to work with the First State African American Farmers Association. Again, which I am a proud member. I always let you guys know I am a proud member because they've done such great work and it really have changed my life in terms of understanding agriculture in this state, and that is important. Yeah. So what do you think about, having this conference and the importance of it to the farming community in terms of Black farmers, but then overall?
I'm excited. I can't tell you how excited I am and grateful that we're having this conference. Just the fact that it brings together all these different pieces that are important. It brings together all the farmers. It brings together youth as well as the industry, USDA industries and others that are connected. And it focuses on trying to help us to have access to make our farms successful. As the youth, and I think that's the most exciting part, that, they have an opportunity to see it early on, hopefully learn from all of all the farmers that are there, their experience, as well as give new ideas about the way forward and being introduced to different organizations that can help them and how we all can be better and improve farming for Black farmers here in Delaware.
Yes, it's wonderful and it's exciting. You can hear the passion. We are excited about that. We want you to tell your friends and neighbors, let everyone know. November 8th and November 9th, you need to be at Delaware State University. It will be housed in the MLK parlors. And it's both days. One of the other exciting things about the Black Farmers Conference is that we will have keynote speakers and you'll get as much information as possible. But the one thing that's also going to be unique and important is that those of you who are producers, those of you who are beginning farmers, or you're thinking about farming, you're going to be able to have appointments with each of the agencies that you are, that you're interested in. They can help you with applications. So they will all be there, farm service agencies and all the other agencies that can help you to start building your dream. If this is your dream to farm, that is the place that you need to be. Come ready and willing to really just step out there. We're really excited about this particular conference. Now, I want you to always remember, this is DSU Farmers Real Talk podcast. We want you to tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your cousins, everybody about this podcast. We want to be able to bring information to you about all aspects of farming. We hope that you've learned a lot from this particular broadcast. We have 2 sponsors that we always want to highlight again and thank them. One is the First State African American Farmers Association. So thank you, Ms. Pierce, for all that you do for us. It's really, really important. And your leadership and commitment, really important. And then also DSU College of Agriculture, Sciences, and Technology, and their dean, Dr. Sharice Winstead, who is leading us in this effort to trailblaze when it comes to farming and agriculture in general. We also want to thank our associate dean at DSU as well, Dr. Osbey. We call her affectionately Rose, in agriculture, for also just being a part of what we're doing new to try to get the information out to the public. So we thank you very much. And then I'm always going to give a shout out to my dean, and her name is Dr. Gwen Scott Jones, and she is the dean of the College of Health and the Wesley College Health and Behavioral Sciences College. I just wanted to make sure that I mention her name. So let me make sure that I have that right. It's Dr. Gwen Scott Jones, and she is the dean of the Wesley College Behavioral Health and Social Sciences at Delaware State University. And we thank you so much. All of them are supporting this effort. Have a great day, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you once again to our sponsor, Delaware State University's College of Agriculture, Science, and Technology. And thank you for listening to our podcast. If you have any questions, please email us at FSAAFA.de@gmail.com. Also, please check out the Black Farmers Conference, held on November 8th and 9th. Thank you, and have a great day.